Okay, so I want to tell you about some of my experiences with extraterrestrials, specifically with a group called the Arcturians, because I believe the reason they contacted me was to show me, and therefore you by extension, what we're capable of achieving and what's actually possible. So we live in such a kind of physical, dense reality. It's like we're blocked off from higher reality. And so when they came in, they gave me a demonstration of really what's possible and what human beings can achieve. And so the reason I'm sharing it is to obviously let you know, to either to confirm what you already know or to alert you to what's possible. So in the first instance, the Arcturians came in and gave me an expanded experience of my consciousness. The first major experience was it was like being in a group mind or an internet, but of minds. And I realized that I was in the Arcturian group mind. So if you imagine every human on Earth sending positive energy and love and inspiration into a kind of combined energy field that everyone can kind of dip into when they need support. So it wasn't controlling, it was more like like a kind of ambient energy field that you could tune into. And this lasted for a number of days where I was in the group mind, and it felt wonderful. It was very joyous and blissful and soaring and expansive. And in that time a guide appeared, or I say appeared, not obviously physically, but kind of in my mind as part of this experience, and then answered questions. And so I asked it questions primarily about my healing journey. One question I asked it was why I was having these feelings that didn't really relate to my life. I couldn't understand why I was having, and they were negative feelings, and it just didn't make any sense. And the guide explained that when everyone comes through into life, they absorb the emotions of the group, the human group and the family. So the answer was, everyone has to come through somewhere, and then they pick up the energy of that area they came into. And so the way they answered was a mixture of kind of words in my mind, but also telepathic understanding. So I knew what they meant, even though they only gave a few words. So that's also something else I learned about telepathy, which is that it's an incredibly powerful way of sharing understanding, much more precise than what I'm doing now, sharing words. So that experience really helped me understand what human beings are capable of achieving if we expand our consciousness. And one of the blocks to that is holding on to low vibration or heavy emotion, which drops our frequency down and makes it hard to reach those higher levels where we can have these sorts of expanded experiences. And so that put me on to having a daily practice of release, where I would release some of my, negative, in inverted commas, emotions, heavy or low vibration emotions. It's not that the emotions are bad per se, it's that they drop your frequency. And so you can't reach those higher levels and have those expanded experiences. So in my case, whenever I notice an uncomfortable emotion, or I get triggered, maybe some memories from school or from childhood as an example, and then I would just wrap them in love and release them. Something as simple as that actually does work. It's almost like you're a gardener, you're cultivating your garden, but the garden is internal, and the weeds are essentially the low vibration emotions. And as you release them bit by bit, you very naturally start to wake up and have more expanded experiences. So the experience lasted about 3 days, and then when it finally stopped, I missed it like crazy. It felt like I was empty without it. It felt completely normal. I was just back to where I was before, but now I understood how much more enjoyable those higher consciousness experiences are, and we can experience them in a body now. You haven't got to wait till you leave your body and go to some other place. It's available now. And so that was incredibly powerful. But nevertheless, I did suffer withdrawal symptoms from it because it was so lovely. And then pretty quickly thereafter, I had to do quite a lot of release work on it, so I was really upset I wasn't in it anymore. And so I did that release work intensively. And as a consequence of that, I then immediately went into a divine love experience. And it felt like the whole room was filled with an overwhelming love. It was extraordinary divine love. And it was like every atom in the room, every molecule was filled with this love. It was just completely overwhelming and astonishing. And whoever I thought about in my mind, I loved completely, as if they were my own brother or sister or child. It was absolutely immense state of being. And I also intuitively understood I could direct this love energy into my body just through the power of thinking and willpower, and it would then heal or start to heal that body part. So I know Indian yogis talked about being able to regenerate their body using their consciousness. And so that was an experience of that. And so I directed it into body parts, and I could actually feel them physically healing. I've never experienced anything like that before. And so again, what I realized the Arcturians wanted to show us is what we're capable of achieving if we release our low vibration emotions. And we're in a society where that's really hard. Every film seems to make it worse. There are people blowing things up, fighting, we're scared, we're angry. Then you look at the news, it's the same thing. It continually stimulates those negative emotions. So wherever we look in our society, we keep coming across the very stimulation we really don't need. Of course, the positive way of looking at that is at least it's showing us what we need to release. And when we understand these are the emotions we need to release, that it's essentially energy, emotion is energy in motion. And once that's understood, it's just a matter of, like I'm doing and like other people do, practicing a way of releasing it. Some people use breath work. But regardless of the technique you use, a daily habit of release is essential in order to ascend, in order to raise your vibration up to a lighter frequency. So that's obviously a short introduction to what I experienced, but if you have any questions or you want to know anything more, pop them in the comments below, and I'll make some more videos about some of my other experiences, because I've also had experiences with their craft at low level and a number of other experiences in the range of consciousness. So I'll speak to you soon.